Welcome to the Talking Risk podcast. We discuss all things risk, hazard mitigation, insurtech, industry insights, and more. I'm your host, Brian Harris, Risk Control Director with FCCI Insurance Group, and with me is Ralph Hines, Risk Control Specialist with FCCI Insurance Group. All right, everybody, welcome back to Talking Risk. In this episode, we've got a special guest, Chuck Thompson, Director of Customer Relations for E Fire USA. And we also have Ralph Hines, my sidekick, with us again today. Ralph, how are you doing?
Hey, good morning. Doing very well. Thank you. It's exciting. It's nice to meet Chuck and be able to talk and learn more about this.
Awesome. Good deal. All right, Chuck, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you here and would just kick it over to you, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about E Fire USA and yourself, and we'll talk about the company and all the products that you guys have and where they fit as we go through our discussion today.
Well, thanks for having me first, and this is great. Whenever I can talk fire or talk about safety and preventive natures towards what we can do to help the risk of fire, especially when working with insurance companies who understand it more than anybody, because I am so tired of hearing people tell me that a fire is not going to happen to them. Don't worry about it. I got a fire extinguisher. And it's sort of a standard line that goes on. And that is one of the reasons why I came into the business and joined the owner when he asked me in 2019 when he founded the company. His premise behind finding the company, he's a mill worker at heart. I am sitting in his warehouse right now. That's where our offices are. He has a large fabrication business that he had all the fire protection he needed. I mean, he was compliant. He had sprinklers, he had fire extinguishers, but something kept him up at night when he shut the door. Because what happens if something happens in my paint room or over by my Corian tables and where I have all this valuable equipment? And before you know it, it starts, no one's there. Fire extinguishers don't activate automatically. If the whole sprinkler system goes on, I lose everything. And he went out and sought some alternatives. Innovation was what spurred him. And he found the E Fire Ball, which was originally created in Thailand after a tragic fire in a hotel in Bangkok, and discovered that this is a very unique way of stopping fires at the source, because it is meant to be hung or mounted in areas of concern. It only activates when it comes in contact with flame. It is a 24/7, 365-day-a-year device that doesn't need maintenance and is just placed in areas of concern. It's added fire protection. It really started us on the road to innovation. And I came in because I am historically a brand and advertising person, and I market brands to bring awareness to them. And this really intrigued me because I was one of the first people to say, fire's not going to happen to me. I have a fire extinguisher, until I realized the realities of fire. I mean, what's interesting is I'm sure you guys may know, but there's a fire that happens every day, every 23 seconds. A fire department is responding to a fire in the United States. That's, during that time frame, think about all the fires that during our half an hour discussion, are going to happen. So that led us to this product, which we started introducing in 2019 and started growing it. Our original thought process was homeowners, which quickly we realized there's much more to fire protection than just homeowners. There's businesses, there's farms, there's cars, there's vehicles, there's boats. It became much wider, but you're stuck with few people who understand how real fire is. Insurance is one area because you guys have to deal with it all the time. Otherwise, it's a very casual sort of flip. Like I will tell you right now, I had a response at a conference where someone told me that they lived down the street from a fire department, and that made it all right. So I don't even know how to address those types of things, which showed to us as a company that this is much needed. Innovative fire protection outside. Do never get rid of your sprinklers, your smoke alarms, your fire extinguishers. But there's more need. There's a gray area. There's spaces where there is in need of more fire protection. And every people say, well, things are fireproof. There's no such thing as fireproof, only because You can never stop Mother Nature, mechanical breakdowns, and the simple fact that someone's going to come the next day and go, well, I thought I turned that off. It's just human, that's just a human nature thing. So that's what started us on our road, and I'm happy to say we've grown, and we actually have now 4 products we offer that are all within the innovative world. Not only the E Fireball, a portable fire extinguisher, an aerosol system for full room coverage, and we are beta testing and we'll be rolling out a lithium ion battery storage cabinet, charging cabinet, which is important. It's not going to put out your lithium ion batteries because they haven't figured that out yet, but it's going to safely allow you to charge e-bikes, batteries, believe it or not, golf cart batteries, because people have the push carts and their golf carts are using them, and just power tools. Keeps them safe in a box. Fire department can roll them out because they're the needs one to deal with it. So that's sort of my short spiel. I can go on a lot more if you want, but because fire is real, and that's one of the things we are going around saying, waving our flag. Don't be fooled. A fire extinguisher in your garage that's probably never been used, and you don't even know where it is because I'm guilty of being that person, is not enough.
Well, Chuck, you're scaring me a little bit because now I'm thinking about my garage. And some of the things that I should probably be doing better than I am today. Yes, I've got a fire extinguisher mounted on the wall of the garage, but I also have a workbench full of battery chargers, and there's probably a couple batteries in those chargers right now. And there's a better way and a safer way to store that. So, I think Ralph is going to talk to you a little bit more about all the products that E Fire USA has here in a minute, maybe explore those in a little more detail. But I wanted to follow up on something you said when you talked about, fire. Fire can happen anytime, anywhere. And one of the things that Ralph and I and the rest of us here at FCCI and Risk Control are putting some emphasis in is the area of electrical fires, because statistically in commercial occupancies, electrical fires account for at least 30% of fires. And that bothers me because those can happen in the middle of the night. It's like the unseen hazard. When we look at spray painting, powder coating, welding, all of these other hazards that from an insurance and safety standpoint we worry about, those are things that when Ralph and I go through a facility, we can see those. Okay, that's the hazard. Is it controlled properly? Yes, I can see it. Other than looking at condition of electrical panels and conduit and things of that nature, there's a lot that's hidden behind the walls that we can't see, and that worries me. So something like the fireball would give me some peace of mind if I had those mounted in the areas where my electrical components were. But anyway, so I just wanted to throw that out there. The hidden hazard of electrical worries me, and I think of the fireball is something that may help to add an additional layer of protection in those areas. So I just wanted to say that. So
Okay.
Ralph, I'll kick it over to you, buddy.
I totally agree with that, Brian. Well, hey, Chuck, first thing I'd like to say is your boss's company seems like the millwork company seems like a best in class, and I would love to see you guys be our partner. I don't know if we could do that, but the best in class type things are what we're really looking for. So, hey, let's expand on your products a little bit more. You had already mentioned them, but let's talk about things like square footage coverage and other things, other benefits associated with your products.
Sure. We've grown from the ball originally is a proximity base. That's our first product, which I said, placed in areas of concern. It does about 24 square feet effectively. So you placed over the area about 1 to 2 feet over an area where everyone identifies it differently. Electrical areas are very high priority. We have a lot of businesses, B2B people use it in transformer rooms because they're not in those areas. They're outbuildings and wind farms and things like that. So that does a nice thing, but it's not going to do a full room. We will never tell you it will. It is not a full room extinguisher. Our product that covers that is a half-X aerosol system, which we pair with a Sencox heat sensing cable, which allows you to measure the rate of temperature change if you wire it that way, or a thermal bulb. And half-X is a clean eco-friendly, clean energy aerosol product. It's a potassium-based product. It's not the aerosol can foam. And what it is, the aerosol product releases when you set it at heat, the heat sensing cables, it activates and attaches itself to the chemical reaction of the fire and cools it at the source before it ignites. What's great about it is it'll do anywhere from 100 square feet to 20,000 square feet. And once the fire's out, there's no cleanup and it's not corrosive. We have been doing, we just completed a wind farm installation in Mexico, over 70 wind turbines with the HAFX system. We are on the docket for a PO with 2 U.S. Bitcoin companies because that's another place where it can go. They can't have any foam or any water where a miner is in those Bitcoin farms, and the best place to go is our system. So we've got 2 looking there. We also have we have hydropower we're exploring. They're very interested in the rooms. They don't want you. The beauty of it is it's clean and there's no cleanup. It's environmentally friendly. People use Novak 123, I believe, which is going to be outlawed at the end of this year. It's got to be because it is PFAS. The aerosol system we have is totally clean and acceptable. So PFAS and all the other things that the environment doesn't want in their water. From that, we also have a portable fire extinguisher, which I think is on in your guys' menu for offer, which is a smaller version. Looks like you ever see the Maglite flashlights that the police carry? It's a little bit smaller than that. It's a very simple thing. It's equal to a 10-pound fire extinguisher. It is a one-time use. Pull the pin and press a button. It's aerosol, puts it out. Again, no cleanup, corrosion. It'll do small in trucks and cars, in your house. It's an emergency situation piece. And the last piece is the Vault, which is beta testing. We'll have our second version of it in 6 weeks, where we've made some adjustments to the first one. It's a start to the battle lithium-ion batteries. And we're actually playing with the fire blanket because we think there's room for that. The important part of what we do most of all is all these products represent 24/7 coverage. They represent innovation and a way of looking at things differently. And they're not don't get rid of any fire extinguishers. We recommend as part of our discussions that every year do a fire check, take a fresh set of eyes of what you have and what you may need, and look to see if there are areas that need more. Because we're never going to fire. We're not going to be fireproof, but we can be more fire protective.
This is Talking Risk, the risk control podcast from FCCI Insurance Group. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or by visiting our website, fcci-group.com. Click on Risk Control, then Risk Control Resources, and select the episode you want to hear.
So that's sort of who we are. We're all in to try and make the world safer from fire. And I've played around. We've done demos. We've done things like that. And I'm sure you guys have seen it. It is a lot scarier than I ever thought.
Hey, Chuck, I got a question. With those portable, the portable, what I call it a stick. When you push the button, does it expend the entire content, or can you start it and stop it?
It extends the entire content.
Okay.
So it's truly meant for emergency situations. It's a one-time use piece. Believe it or not, we have a lot of farmers using it on their belts and in their their trucks that go around the properties just in case.
Okay. Well, that's something. Ralph, did you have any other questions you wanted to follow up with on the different types of products that E Fire has?
I think it's very interesting. One thing that keeps coming to mind, hey Chuck, have you guys had any success stories where real life fire situations and how the product worked in them instances?
So far, not much. We had a couple of instances in Canada with some outbuildings and farms that it put it out and stopped it, and in one case alerted. We did have a case in a waste management company. And we were very clear with them. One thing with the ball, When it activates, there's a very loud bang because there is an igniter on top of it. So it also acts as an alarm. So if you hear that bang because there's no false activations, it's a fire. It's an active fire. And I was discussing with the waste management person, and I told him, I said, look, you're going to put it in. They have a lot of waste collection companies have a lot of buildings, where they put all their facilities where they store the garbage before it's picked up by bigger places, or rural areas where there's not a lot of fire safety. And there was a station he wanted to put them in stations. And I told him, I said, look, I can't recommend it's going to put a whole fire out there. And he goes, I don't need it. You've already saved one of our facilities, because he had bought it. I didn't know what he did with it. He said, we had it hung. It went off. A fire started in the back of the refuge area. We heard it. That gave us enough time to bring the truck, because all these facilities have to have large water trucks to bring over and stop the fire before the whole facility went down. So that's our greatest success story. And it's sort of weird because it's not a place we would recommend, the ball to be the most effective, but for their use, it was perfect. And that's the beauty of the ball. People identify areas that you'd never think of. I've got more stories of how people want to use it or ideas on how to want to use it. And I can share those later. I'm sorry, I'm rambling again.
That's okay. That's okay, Chuck. And I think one of the things that I was looking at here, is at FCCI, we insure businesses, right? So we look at what could be some potential uses or places where our customers might find this as a good augmentation to the things that they have in place for their fire protection. But I think you just mentioned it really, that the sky's the limit, man. It's almost unlimited where you could put these things. If you can envision a circumstance where there might be some type of fire risk, the ball can be mounted there.
Yep. We actually had a person who was using them. He stores suits. So it's like a cleaner in his room, and he keeps the suits and he hangs them up, and he's worried about a fire, and he's having to get he wants to get insurance. And I mapped out where the balls could be hung in his ceilings so the suits can be safe. So he's using them with hangers, and they go across, in certain areas. I helped him identify areas where a fire could start. And then he asked for general coverage of the ceilings. And I said, I don't recommend full room, but if you have some areas where there could be fire potential, we put them that way. So it really is very, very creative. I had a gentleman call me up from San Francisco, and he asked me about wildfires. And I said, we can't put out a wildfire. I mean, we are working with drone companies to drop in areas of concern to give, the wildfire, the wildfire hunters or fire rangers going in, but I can't put out a fire. And he said, that's not the point. I know your ball makes a loud noise. I'd like you to help me map out my backyard because my wife is disabled. And if there's a fire and it comes into our backyard, I want to hear it to give me enough time to get my wife out. And that is a very unique way of looking at it. I Google mapped and put balls in his backyard, and he executed that. So
That's interesting.
I have not heard anything about anything happening, but that's sort of where it is. We always say, I can give you a device, put it 1 to 2 feet, or I can go lower than 1 foot over it. But after that, it's your eyes and your place. Where do you see it, and where do you need it?
So weather doesn't play a role. It can get wet and be exposed to the elements.
It's an indoor primarily. This gentleman put covers over them. So, it will go off in wet weather. You don't submerge it. It just loses its activation time. So the ball itself, about 3 to 5 seconds, maybe 7 seconds, 3 to 7 seconds to activate. If it gets wet, because we did weather testing, it can go up to 20 seconds. I mean, it's primarily should be inside. I mean, you asked about some of the companies. We have, I can tell you, Kimberly-Clark, Georgia Pacific uses us, Leeward Energy, Mesa Energy, Entergy, Cintas. We have a lot of large corporations who realize that they have value in areas of concern, where fires could start in buildings need to be protected. So they have full everything else. They're compliant. This is just additive.
Yeah, and I think, Chuck, what's interesting about the ball is the fact that you can put it anywhere. Like we mentioned, the use cases or scenarios are almost limitless. When Ralph and I are surveying a property risk, we do a lot with evaluation of fire sprinkler systems, and making sure that the sprinkler system is adequate. And sprinklers are fantastic. Historically, for the past 125 or 150 years, the fire sprinkler system in a building has been sort of the frontline, top level uh, aspect of fire protection. But the ball, to me, like you've mentioned in these examples with the person who's storing suits or some of the other large companies that you've talked about, we're not replacing sprinkler protection or fire extinguishers, but you're adding to and enhancing the level of control for a facility. And to me, looking at it from a risk control standpoint, where I see the something like the E Fireball fitting is the fact that a portable fire extinguisher requires a user, right?
Yep.
Somebody has to operate that extinguisher. The ball would give me peace of mind when I'm not there, or if it's in an area where somebody is not monitoring continuously. Now, especially for risks that may not have a fire sprinkler system, or in some cases, a sprinkler system might be, not the most conducive thing to have installed for whatever reason, the operation or the commodity being stored. So there's just a lot of unlimitless possibilities almost that you can use these things. They're very, very interesting. At FCCI, risk is our business. We provide services that help business owners better understand and minimize the losses they face every day. Our experienced and credentialed professionals have worked in a wide variety of industries, including agriculture, construction, manufacturing, retail, service, and wholesale distributing. FCCI's risk control consultants meet directly with policyholders to learn the unique nature of their business, combine individual recommendations with online resources and tools to create a custom-tailored plan. Our risk control programs provide clear goals, action plans, and survey schedules to help policyholders accomplish their safety objectives. To learn more about FCCI's risk control resources, contact your agent or visit our website, www.fcci-group.com, and click on Risk Control.
One of the, it's an old thing to say, but everyone knows that a large fire starts from a small fire. The E Fireball was created to stop that small fire from becoming that large fire, or give you time to take action on it. And the other thing to note is all of our products have extended shelf lives. The ball is 7 to 10 years, and the Half-X is 10 to 15 years. No maintenance. I mean, you set it and forget it. We do highly recommend a yearly check just to make sure, because you should with all your fire stuff. But I'm not going to say, hey, I'm coming around and I'll charge you $50 to look at a ball. Well, it set it and forget it. Peace of mind.
Man, very interesting. So, hey, how do you advertise your products and how can people become aware of them? And can you share your website?
Sure. We have done, we're a small company, so our advertising has been sort of minimal. We do a little bit of social, a little bit of digital, Google and things like that, search words. My background, as I told you earlier, is advertising. So I am expanding some of that into some verticals. We're doing some stuff in some wind magazines and some energy magazines right now to start to get a test to prove it's right, which is the right way to do it. But a lot of it is we do shows. And we do that. But our website is efireusa.com. And that's where you can get all of our products. The Half-X product, you need a quote because it's very specialized. And we have to assess the situation and how to do it. But the E-Fireball and the portable are very easy to purchase. And as a matter of fact, with our partnership with you guys, you get a 20% discount, which is very easy. Go to shop and type in FCCI 20 and you get a 20% discount.
Yeah. Hey, I was doing a little research to learn more about your product. And as Brian mentioned, we do share this with customers because we're trying to be proactive and help customers and keep customers. But I also seen it at Tractor Supply. So
It is in
I
Tractor
guess that's
Supply.
for the farm industry, correct?
Yes, we are in Tractor Supply. We are in Ace Hardware, and we're in West Marine. We limit our retail uh, right now just because we were in True Value, but they're obviously no longer. So we're not there. But we don't see ourselves as a huge general consumer product. It's sort of secondary. The B2B is really where we see the bigger value. Our small businesses, large businesses. Uh, I actually did some work with you guys last year around some golf courses, our golf cart storage facility. So there's lots of opportunity there. Even more in golf carts now as we roll out the lithium battery charger park, because I know for a fact a friend works at a golf course, they make people take all their batteries back with them because if they have those push carts that are run by that, because most golf clubs don't have any storage, and if it goes up, everything goes up.
Yeah, those lithium ion powered golf carts, the push cart things are almost like the e-scooter
Yeah.
hazard, I would think. Very, similar.
Yes, I mean, there's so many different areas that you can uh, that need to be addressed in fire safety, and unfortunately, going back to my old world, it's a low awareness category because people truly do not think it's going to happen to them. And in businesses, whenever you try to ask people, they tell you, "Oh, they're handling it. Oh, they're doing it." I think when you look at fire safety and you type in, you use AI to say who's in charge of fire safety. There are 15 titles. It's not in one place. And one of the titles is human resources. Now, I don't know how HR fits into fire safety, but the closest thing you can get, and they're starting to realize it, is EHS people. But for the most part, it's always been like, well, I think someone's handling it. They've got it. Maybe it's in operations. Maybe it's in facilities. Maybe it's in security. It's everywhere. So that just is another thing that we're trying to bring to the world. There's two things. Awareness of fire is real, and we're one of the products can help in you to add protection and give you more safety around it and save lives and property.
Mm.
Hey, Chuck, you mentioned your website just a minute ago, for Ralph. Do you guys put videos up there on the website or on YouTube? Can people
There,
go and see these things in action?
there are videos on our website. They are being adjusted. Some of them are. We're trying. One thing you'll see is a lot of if there are knockoff balls, but be careful of those types of products because they look cheaper and they come out in clumps. And we've actually done some video that shows how they come up. They drop out in a clump because it's a inside the ball is a monoammonium phosphate dry chemical, but our mixture makes it so it comes out as a powder and disperses. The others just drop on it. So they don't have the same mixtures. You have to be careful. But one of the things that people think when they see the ball is I can throw it. We highly recommend against throwing it. Only professionals should do it. As a matter of fact, earlier that in 24 mid-year, we took all reference of throwing out of our collateral. Uh,
Gotcha.
you can still see some videos, but you can go on and see a number of videos. You can see our Half-X product portable. You can see the ball in numerous scenarios, whether it's in a boat, in an automobile. As a matter of fact, we had a gentleman get his doctorate. He wrote his thesis on the fireball as becoming a required part of commercial vehicle transportation, which was pretty interesting.
I can already think where I need to put some around my house and my garage. So, Chuck, I may be visiting the website to make a purchase for business customers like FCCI policyholders or anyone. In addition to ordering from the website, can they reach out to somebody at E Fire USA if they have questions about their particular scenario and placement of product?
Absolutely. You reach out to me. So it's Chuck T at efireusa.com.
We're gonna do our Hey Ralphie here.
Hey, Ralph, Ralphie boy!
This is Ralph.
Hey there, Ralphie boy! Ralphie boy!
Ralph? Ralph?
Hey, yeah, Ralph. How you doing there, Ralphie boy? Hey, Ralphie boy!
Where would you put one of these?
So I was thinking about this, and we just passed Christmas time. And I was looking at this, and according to the NFPA, there's 160 fires per year on average as a result of Christmas trees, resulting in 2 deaths, 11 injuries, and $12 million in property damage. So I think they're red. I would put them on my Christmas tree and have it as a decoration.
Actually, one of the videos, if you can look, I believe one of our videos up there is us showing how it would put out a Christmas tree fire. If you want to put it in there, just have to make sure your wife doesn't mind that kind of an ornament.
Are you replacing the angel with a fireball?
No, I'm hiding it in there, and just so you can see some of it.
You'll see in the video, if you see it, it lays into we actually put it in, we screwed it in there, but you don't need to. It can lay if the tree is strong enough. It can lay inside, or it can be hung or mounted near the extension, where the cords and the lights go on.
Yeah, there was one more place I was thinking about too. I have a second level in my home, and the heat pump, the electric heat pump, is within a confined area. And that kind of worries me because that thing runs here in Tennessee all night long, when it's cold or when it's hot. So I was thinking about putting up there, since heat's not going to activate it, only a fire would. So I thought that would be another good place as well.
That's an excellent place. Absolutely.
Hey, Chuck, as far as mounting the fireball, what is the maximum temperature it can be mounted in?
It won't activate in anything but flame. So it can be over 220, 250 degrees, and it won't act. You can put it there. You can put it in Alaska in an igloo, but it won't go off. But if you flick a bic under it, it'll go off.
Okay, that's good to know. So, I mean, these things could feasibly be mounted in engine compartments of construction equipment or agricultural farming equipment.
We do there's a lot of people using them in combines. We have commercial trucks. You don't want to mount them so they're touching anything hot, because it can melt. It won't activate, but it'll melt. So you can't, if it's, we had someone that experimented like that and put it right on top of a muffler, and it melted. It didn't go off. So he sent it back, and we sent him a replacement, but it was just he didn't realize. He thought, okay, I'll put it right here, and it can't be that type of thing. Yeah. But it can be over 250 degrees. And just so you know, because people do ask and realize, every ball comes with a mounting bracket and 2 screws. You don't have to go buy anything to hang it up.
Well, it sounds like Ralph and I have both identified areas where the fireball device would be useful in our own personal environments. And, it makes me think of a saying that we use here, is that you can't over communicate enough. And I also think, like, you can't have enough fire protection.
Yep.
Our risk control team emphasizes less is more, keep it simple, use common sense. To me, something like the E Fireball product adds to existing fire protection in a variety of ways. It's almost limitless where you can put it. And I also think something like this could greatly benefit those types of occupancies that may not require a fire sprinkler system. Something like a contractor's building, where they put their equipment and their tools at night, or an office space or an equipment room. So it just seems like the ball would give me peace of mind for sure here at my house. I think I'm going to go put one in my garage over my workbench where all my battery chargers are.
I would when I first got into doing this, I came home and I was all excited, and my wife looks at me and goes, "Hey, do you know where our fire extinguisher is?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I do. And I had no idea. And she caught me 15 minutes later in the garage throwing stuff all over the place. And when I pulled it out, it was so covered with dust. Yeah. And she just laughed at our door, and she pointed to the wall next to my door out of our garage, and there was a dog electric fence, garage opener, and our sprinkler system all in one plug.
Wow.
So that's where the ball went immediately. So
Yep.
they're areas that you just don't even realize. You'll just catch your eye. And
Right.
so the value of fire protection, and so many people don't understand it. And it's a shame they have to call you guys after the fact. We're trying to stop that and build awareness of something that is truly low interest, but should be of greater emphasis.
And technology is advancing at a rapid pace all around us. And in the area of fire protection, you mentioned earlier innovation. To me, um, as the world changes, it's okay to look at innovative products and see where they may fit to help us be better than we are today. You've mentioned multiple times that the E Fire USA products aren't looking to replace traditional fire uh, protection devices. They're a way of augmenting them. They have a place in support of existing fire protection systems, and we've talked about those today. Chuck, is there any final comments you'd like to add before we wrap up here today?
No, the only thing I can say is what we say is there's never enough fire protection. So always keep your eyes open for where you can add more. And innovation, don't be afraid of it. Don't
Hey,
don't think that you need it's a fire extinguisher, or a sprinkler, or smoke alarm. That's not enough. What we like to call is above compliance, above what you think is needed. There's always more.
well said. And Ralph, do you have any final comments before we wrap up here?
No, I just appreciate you taking time to come on today. It's very interesting, and I may be calling you in the future if I ever need you, or one of our customers do.
Hey, you know what? I'm always here. Anybody who wants to talk about fire and how we can help, I'm available all the time. And I appreciate you guys for having me on, and I look forward to pushing our relationship even further.
Well, thanks, Chuck, and that'll do it for this episode of Talking Risk. You can find E Fire USA's products at efireusa.com, and reach out to Chuck if you have any questions about applications. Hope you all stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you next time. This is Talking Risk, the risk control podcast from FCCI Insurance Group. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or by visiting our website, fcci-group.com. Click on Risk Control, then Risk Control Resources, and select the episode you want to hear. For Talking Risk, I'm Brian Harris, Risk Control Director with FCCI Insurance Group. Recording copyright FCCI Services Inc. 2022. The opinions expressed in this recording don't necessarily represent those of FCCI, its personnel, or affiliates. This recording is provided for informational purposes only, does not attempt to identify all potential hazards or remedial actions, and is not intended as legal or professional advice. FCCI, its personnel, and affiliates shall not be liable for any loss, death, damage, or expense arising out of your reliance upon this recording. You are solely responsible for complying with applicable law, including any changes in the law, and for the safety of your operations. Please consult your legal advisor with any questions or concerns.